Hello everyone, and Ma'am Shomi back again with some more very important reference to the context, questions and answers. This passage number 1, is from Act 4, Scene 1, lines 114 to lines 118. Antonio, I am a tainted wether of the flock, meetest for death, the weakest kind of fruit drops earliest to the ground, and so let me. You cannot better be employed, Bassanio, than to live still and write mine epitaph. So, this is the extract. Let us see the questions and answers. Where are the speakers at this time? The speakers are at this time in a court of law in Venice. Learn the setting of each and every scene. Under what circumstances does the dialogue take place? The dialogue takes place when Shylock's case against Antonio seems to be going against Antonio. The Duke's personal appeal to Shylock has produced no effect on Shylock, and Bassanio's pleading with Shylock has failed to serve any purpose. You must include all the key points, all the key words and elements in your answer. Be specific, precise, but all important points must be mentioned clearly in your answer. I hope you have read question 2 and the answer as well. Moving on to question number 3 now. Do you think that Bassanio is sincere in giving the assurance which he gives Antonio in his speech? Bassanio is sincere in giving Antonio the assurance that he would not allow the Jew to cut off any flesh from Antonio's body, no matter what sacrifice he, that is, Bassanio, might have to make. Bassanio is willing to give the Jew his own flesh, blood, bones, and every part or organ to save Antonio's life. Read the text thoroughly to identify the context and then answer the questions. Now, it's time for me to read question number 4. Why is Antonio willing to die? I am a tainted wether of the flock. Why is he willing to die? Antonio thinks himself to be a useless man now when he has become a bankrupt and has completely lost his flourishing business. Antonio has incurred a huge financial loss. He compares himself to a sheep which becomes infected with some disease, and the continued presence of which in a flock of sheep can prove dangerous to the other sheep as well. It would be better if an infected sheep dies than that it should infect the other sheep. In the same way, Antonio would like to die instead of continuing to live and cause endless anxiety to his friends like Bassanio. I will read this answer once again. Antonio thinks himself to be a useless man now when he has become a bankrupt and has completely lost his flourishing business. He compares himself to a sheep which becomes infected with some disease, and the continued presence of which in a flock of sheep can prove dangerous to the other sheep as well. It would be better if an infected sheep dies than that it should infect the other sheep. In the same way, Antonio would like to die instead of continuing to live and cause endless anxiety to his friends like Bassanio. If we follow the ICSE specimen sample paper for English language, you will see that you will get 4 questions. 2 questions carrying 2 marks each and 2 questions carrying 3 marks each, so a total of 10 marks. Explain the following me test for death. The meaning of the expression me test for death is most suitable to die. Antonio considers himself most fit or appropriate for death. You must write down the meanings of the expression as well as some important words. And then a single sentence describing the expression and analyzing it with reference to the text. And write mine epitaph. The quoted expression means and compose an epitaph to be inscribed on my tomb. This is the meaning of the expression. Epitaph means the words in prose or in verse which are inscribed on a tombstone. An epitaph is generally a tribute paid to a dead person by his relatives or admirers. Antonio wants Bassanio to write his epitaph. This is a complete answer. First, explain the meaning of the expression and then pick out important words, write down its meaning and then analyze it in just a single sentence. Portia, soft. The Jew shall have all justice, soft, no haste. He shall have nothing but the penalty. Gratiano, O Jew, an upright Jew, a learned judge. Portia, therefore prepare thee to cut off the flesh. Shed thou no blood, nor cut thou less nor more, but just a pound of flesh. This is our extract. The trial scene, lines 318 to lines 324. Let us read the questions and answers now. Where does this dialogue take place? When? The setting. This dialogue takes place in a court of law in Venice. The setting is important. I am repeating this again and again. Then we have the question when. When does this dialogue take place? When does this dialogue take place? It takes place after Portia has made it impossible for the Jew to cut off any flesh from Antonio's body, and when the Jew expresses his willingness to accept the money and let Antonio go. In order to answer these questions, you will have to read the text thoroughly. You will have to identify the context and then write down the answers. It's time for me to read question number 2. To whom are Gratiano's remarks addressed, and what is the significance of these remarks? Gratiano's remarks are addressed to Shylock. Gratiano's remarks here are bitterly sarcastic. The significance: he is poking fun at Shylock and tormenting him with his ironical words. This is the significance. Next, who was Daniel? According to the biblical account, Daniel was a man of exceptional wisdom. He delivered judgments which were unique in their wisdom and their justice. Daniel come to judgment. Now, explain. Now, infidel, I have you on the hip. Explain this. Gratiano described Shylock as a misbeliever. Infidel means misbeliever. Gratiano describes Shylock as a misbeliever and says that now he has the misbeliever in his grip. As a Christian, Gratiano regards a Jew as an infidel, a non-believer in Christ and in the faith which Christ preached. To have somebody on the hip means to have him in one's hold or in one's grip and take advantage. Next, time for question number 5. What has Portia disguised as a lawyer just asked Shylock to do? Portia, disguised as a lawyer, asked Shylock to get ready to cut off the flesh. He must not shed any blood, not cut off less or more than an exact pound of flesh. Shylock would be sentenced to death and all his possessions would be seized by the state if he took more or less than an exact pound. Everything would be confiscated and Shylock would be put to death, sentenced to death. This question is very important. What has Portia just asked Shylock to do? So, moving on to extract 3 now. Act 5, Scene 1. Let us read the extract first and then we will try to solve the questions and answers. The extract. Look how the floor of heaven is thick inlaid with patens of bright gold. There's not the smallest orb which thou beholdest, but in his motion like an angel sings, still queering to the young-eyed cherubims. Such harmony is in immortal souls. But whilst this muddy vesture of decay doth grossly close in it, we cannot hear it. Look at the annotations as well. Queering, serenading, young-eyed cherubims, angels whose eyes are always young, vesture of decay, clothing of mortality, the human body. And what is the Elizabethan belief? The Elizabethans believed that as the planets moved, they created heavenly harmony, but as Lorenzo explains, human beings could not hear it. This section is very important. Read the passage, read the text thoroughly, and do not neglect, do not ignore the annotations. You will need the annotations for answering the questions. And read a paraphrase in order to write the answers properly. Who speaks the words in the extract? From where does he speak them? To whom is he speaking? Question 1 has 3 subparts. Keep changing your paragraphs. Lorenzo speaks the words in the extract. Finished. Question number 1. Change paragraph and come to the second question. From where does he speak them? He speaks them from the garden in front of Portia's house in Belmont. The setting, once again. Again, change paragraph. Whom is he speaking? He is speaking to Jessica. So, these are your 3 answers. Question 2. To what does the speaker refer when he says patens of bright gold? Give the meaning of floor of heaven, muddy vesture of decay. Be very, very careful while answering the questions. Read the questions properly. Lorenzo refers to the bright stars twinkling in the sky when he says patens of bright gold. Bright stars twinkling in the sky. Change paragraph. The expression floor of heaven means the sky. Next, the words muddy vesture of decay mean mortal bodies of humans which are made of earthly dust and which are subject to decay. Some rectifications: which are made of earthly dust and which are subject to decay. Understood? Next, what are the orbs said to be doing? What was the Elizabethan view of the music of the heavenly bodies? The planets, in the course of their revolutions, are producing musical sounds. Even the smallest planet seen in the sky is singing like an angel in the course of its movements. The planets, in the course of their revolutions, are producing musical sounds. Even the smallest planet seen in the sky is singing like an angel in course of its movement. Elizabethans believe that every star or planet produced in its motion a peculiar musical note, and the combination of all notes compose the grand harmony of the universe. The angels listen to this song. Annotations. Learn the annotations. Next. What has the speaker said about music before this extract? Lorenzo asks Stefano to bring his music forth to the air so that they can give a musical welcome to Portia and Lord Bassanio. He says that they must listen to the music on such a night because stillness and the night soothes the notes of sweet music and provides solace to the ears. Music and the significance of this reference to music. Next, what comment does Jessica make about music? Why, according to the speaker, can't human beings hear the harmony of the immortal souls? Jessica says that she is never lively, happy and glad when she listens to sweet music. And the next question. According to Lorenzo, human beings are unable to hear these sounds because their immortal souls are enclosed within their mortal bodies, which are made of earthly clay and which are for that reason insensitive to that music. According to Lorenzo, human beings are unable to hear these sounds because their immortal souls are enclosed within their mortal bodies. The souls are immortal, but the bodies are mortal, which are made of earthly clay and which are for that reason insensitive to that music.